Hello you guys, it's Ivy, also known as Ivy Martinez here on my second channel, and welcome to my lifestyle channel. So if you guys are here from my main channel, I did a reading wrap up of everything I read in January, February, and March. And on this channel I'm doing what I'm going to be reading for spring. So everything that I'm going to be reading in April, May, and June. The reason why I separated the two is because my main channel is all about like the magical, the mystical, the spiritual, supernatural, and this channel is all about lifestyle. And most of these books that I'm reading for spring are more like lifestyle based and like business based and all that stuff. So my businessy entrepreneurial TBR. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first book is the book that I am currently reading right now, and that is Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. So he wrote this book, which is all about how to tell your story in a noisy world. So how to make social media posts, like how to make your social media posts stand out compared to other people's. So how to make your social media posts and your marketing posts stand out compared to everybody else's, because social media has been growing and it's thriving, and nobody looks at newspaper ads anymore or magazine ads. Nobody really looks at television ads. It's all on social media. So I got this book wanting to grow my spiritual business and figuring out how to do that. So that is why I'm reading this, and I'm on chapter 3 now. It's a really good book. It's fully illustrated, which is really nice. And it's really interesting. I really deeply enjoy this book. I'm really enjoying it thus far, and it has so many interesting pointers, and I've already taken so many notes on that book. The next book that I'm going to be reading for April, so this is another book that I'm currently reading, and I have it on my Kindle app, so let me show you. So I'm reading this book called The Midnight Library, and this is by Matt Haig. It's a New York Times bestseller. This is a book that has been on my TBR shelf since like last year. It got the Book of the Year for Goodreads for the fictional book, and it has so many good ratings. And what it's about this woman that decides to die, basically. And I don't feel like I'm giving anything away because that literally happens in the beginning of the novel. But she decides to die, and then she finds this library that is filled with books, and every book is a different life path. So if you were to have made a different choice, how would your life have looked? So if you were to like have gone back to school instead of going straight for a job, how would your life have looked? And it basically says like, so do you think your life really is better? Like that's like the message of it. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a really interesting read, because I feel like us as people, it's something that we all think about, you know, like if I had gone back to school, like how would my life be right now? Or if I hadn't gotten married, how would my life be right now? Things like that. That's all something that like, I mean, everybody thinks about it. Everybody thinks about it. And don't say that you don't, because we all have had that thought. And so that book basically answers those questions. And so I'm really interested in reading what happens in that book. The next book on my TBR for April is Ask Your Guides by Sonia Choquette. So this is my book club's book of the month. So if you guys want, I will post a link down below to my spiritual book club, but this is going to be our book of the month for April, and it is Ask Your Guides by Sonia Choquette. And this book is all about how to contact your spirit guides. I'm pretty sure there's more to it than just that. It talks about not just your spirit guides, but like spiritual team. So I'm assuming it's going to talk about like your spirit animals, your spirit guides, your higher self even. And how to contact them, because we just finished a book called Signs, which is all about like asking for signs from like deceased loved ones, and I feel like this is a really good follow-up to that book. I feel like they go very hand in hand. because while signs is like if you lost a deceased loved one, it can be about like spirit guides as well, but it's more for like if you've lost a deceased loved one. This one is more about your guides. So I feel like this is a really good way for like the people that are in the book club that haven't lost someone, how to contact their guides, you know, as well as, I mean, for everyone, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So I'll post link down below, and I'm excited to read this. So now moving on to May. So for May, I'm going to be reading, for my fictional book, you guys know that I try to do 2 nonfictions and 1 fictional. The fiction book that I'm going to be reading in May is going to be 172 Hours on the Moon. This is, I think it's a young adult novel, and I don't really read young adult novels anymore, but there's something about this book that like is really interesting to me. So it's basically about these kids that there's some sort of contest, and if you win, you are able to travel to the moon. And these kids win. They win and they get sent to the moon for 172 hours. And at first they're so excited and it's beautiful and it's amazing until something scary happens. And then one by one, they start to go down and shiznit goes down, and it's like supposed to be like a really suspenseful, creepy novel, which is why I want to read it. It's a book that I've been wanting to read for years, and I completely forgot about it until I saw another like booktuber talk about it, and I was like, I have to read this. Why did I not read this? So there's that. So the next book that I'm going to read for May is Atomic Habits. Ooh. Atomic Habits by James Clear. So this Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. So I know this book is about how to change your habits and how to shift your habits and how to start new habits, how to keep new habits going. So I'm really interested in this book because I have like a checklist of like my habits and my daily habits, things that I want to do every single day, that I want to get used to every single day. But I often fall out of a few, and I want to not do that, especially when I know that they're really healthy for me. For example, like I fell out of doing yoga. Meditation I started doing again, but I'm not as consistent as I would like to be with it. It's something that I want to get used to doing, that my brain's just like, okay, we woke up, it's time to do like yoga, meditation, and your gratitude journal now, things like that. So I am excited to read this book because I've heard so many good things about it. It is a #1 New York Times bestseller, so you gotta know it's good, with over 1 million copies sold. Really excited to read this book. So it's an easy and proven way to build good habits and break old ones, or break bad ones. So really excited to read this book. So that is one book that I'm going to be reading in May. The next book that I have is The 4-Hour Workweek, and this is by Timothy Ferriss. This is another book that's really, really famous. And it says, escape the 9-to-5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. So this book is, what do you do? Tim Ferriss has trouble answering the question. Depending on when you ask this controversial Princeton University guest lecturer, he might answer, I race motorcycles in Europe, or I ski in the Andes, or I scuba dive in Panama, I dance tango in Buenos Aires. He spent more than 5 years learning the secrets of the new rich, a fast-growing subculture that has abandoned the deferred life plan, slave, save, retire, and instead mastered the new currencies, time, and mobility to create luxury lifestyles in the here and now. So that is The 4-Hour Workweek. I am so excited to be learning this as well. I'm not sure if this is like the book that talks about like the Pomodoros. Have you guys heard of the Pomodoros? I might make a video of that, but like that's how I do things now. I do things in Pomodoros so that I don't get tired and like exhausted and like overworked. Yes, so The 4-Hour Workweek is another book that I will be reading in May. So next we have June. So June, for the fiction book, I'm going to try to read All the Light That We Cannot See. This is by Anthony Dewar. This might change though, I'm not gonna lie. This is just one that I was like, I don't have a fictional book for June. and I was just like, oh, this one. Okay, so this is about a girl named Maury Lure, and her father lives in Paris, and he owns a museum of natural history, but when she's 6 years old, she goes blind, so her father builds like a tiny little replica of the city so she can navigate her way around the city and how to find her way home. So apparently the Nazis occupy Paris and they take her father away. Oh no, her father and the daughter flee to Saint Malo, where her great uncle lives, and in a tall house by the sea, and with them they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel. So this is really interesting. I might read the story, but like I said, I might not. This was just like the first one that I picked up, so that might change. The next book that I have is, again, another business book. Like I said, this is probably going to be called my business TBR because most of these books have to do with like business and like how to be more productive and everything like that. So the next book that I have is Your Next 5 Moves. Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy by Patrick Bet-David with Greg Dinkin. Both successful business leaders and chess grandmasters have the vision to look at the pieces in front of them and anticipate their next 5 moves. In this book, he translates the entrepreneurial journey into a valuable methodology that applies to high performers in all areas of business. Whether you feel like you've hit a wall, lost your fire, or are looking for innovative strategies to take your business to the next level, Your Next 5 Moves has the answers. You will gain clarity on what you want and who you want to be, strategy to help you reason in the war room and the boardroom, growth tactics during both economic booms and busts, skills for building the right team based on strong values, and insight on power plays and the art of applying leverage. So it's, again, another business book and how to master the art of business strategy. The next book that I have for June is 1 Million Followers, How I Built a Massive Social Following in 30 Days. In 30 Days, Growth Hacks for Your Business, Your Message, and Your Brand from the World's Greatest Minds by Brendan Kane. So this book I actually started reading. I am on page 34. And this is about a guy named Brendan Kane, and he is someone who is basically in charge of a lot of like celebrity accounts, and he basically helps them gain more followers. And then he was like, if I can do this with celebrities, I wonder if I can just do it from the ground up. So he made this challenge for himself to start from zero, people not knowing who he is, him not being any kind of celebrity or having any public recognition or anything like that, and see if he can grow 1 million followers. And he managed to get a huge following of 1 million followers within 30 days, and he teaches you how to do it, his strategies behind it, and everything like that. So that's another book that I'm super excited to read for June. So again, another businessy book. So this is my TBR. Of course, there's a couple books that aren't in here because I will be reading them via digital form. But all my nonfiction books I have to get paperback because I like to write all over them. So that is it, you guys. I might try to read Crush It by Gary Vee as well. If you guys have any other like businessy entrepreneurial books for me, just go ahead and let me know. Post it down in the comments below. And if you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you think of them down below as well. And again, lastly, if you guys have not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button and becoming another member of our growing lifestyle family. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.